All right. Welcome everybody to this webinar. We are recording this so that we can send this recording out and we can get a lot of people to go ahead and join us in this fabulous adventure of teaching people to play in church. So we'll go ahead and I think we'll just jump in. Let me open the slides. I'm going to share my screen. Actually, let me start with first I'm going to start with a little bit of history and then I'm going to share a story with you. I can share my screen and I'll share my sound. Okay, so learning to play in church is a very, it's tricky and easy at the same time, but let's take a look really quickly. In 1985, the church published the new Green Hymn Book. Well, this one they're actually in the process of publishing another one. It'll take probably many years before they complete it. They've already released some of the hymns, but this hymn book was produced in 1985. And in 1990, it was just 5 years later, they produced this Hymns Made Easy book. And in the Hymns Made Easy book, it actually has two books here. The Hymns Made Easy, and it's
Was this in the hot tub and I'm on this webinar?
Bill, you can manage the audio for people. Okay, thank you. All right, so what they found then is trying to teach people to play with the hymns, the regular hymn book. There seemed to be this huge chasm. It seems like they'd be easy to learn, but hymns are not easy to learn. In fact, I was thinking, usually it takes about 6 years before a pretty good study before a student would be prepared to be able to play in church. I was playing Chopin pieces and Beethoven pieces, and they would ask me to play in church, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I have time to do that. I'm busy because it was just harder than it looked, and it wasn't real showy, so I wasn't super motivated as a kid to learn the hymns. So that was I could see like that big chasm for myself. And so what I thought was ingenious is the church came up with this bridge program where they created this Hymns Made Easy, which was to help people learn and get into being able to play at a much easier level. And so instead of on the left, you see the irregular hymn book in 4 parts. Well, you look over on the right side with the Hymn Made Easy, and it has just 2 parts. And I also liked that they put the chord symbol above. Let me activate my little pointer thing to make it easy for you guys. So this is the regular hymn book on page 301, and this one over here in the Hymns Made Easy, you can see the chord that they added here, which was really nice if you want to just fill in with chords instead of reading the notes, or play on guitar or anything. This is actually super helpful. And so I've then started using this with my students as well. Well, while this is much easier than the other one, this still looks like hieroglyphics. It's like if you give this to students, there's still a huge barrier. So now we have this barrier that some people could cross, but now we're looking at like what is it that's still really hard about the Hymns Made Easy book that we can build a bridge to cross into this one. One of the things that I had my students do was look and see that I had Miley, my daughter. I said, go ahead and play just the right hand to this song. And so she looked at it and it just became really hard on her eyes to see, well, what is the right hand? All these notes kind of got in the way. Everything was super close here. And then as we played in the second the second verse, it was down here, and so it made it kind of hard for her to sing it and play it at the same time. She couldn't read both. And then one more thing that I asked her to do is I said, just let's start with the intro because you're going to need to play the intro if you're going to play in church. And she said, where's that? And I said, it's between the brackets. And she started looking around and she couldn't find them. And I just let her just look. And she just couldn't find the brackets. Well, here they are. They're kind of hidden. And so what I decided to try is to try to kind of take and put a piano bracket here so you could distinguish one line from the next, and then also lighten up the left hand. So if she's just looking at the right hand, she could see it much easier. And then I put in red this little intro. And so when I said play the little intro in red, her eyes were able to detect that pretty easily. So as I started simplifying the music, we started also breaking it down into steps and said, well, what if we just took these into smaller steps and made it easier to get into learning? Well, let's go really quickly. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and talk to you a little bit about a story. I decided to do a little mini mission with my family, and we went down to Costa Rica, and we wanted to just help them learn to play the hymns of Costa Rica. And when we got there, it was a little surprising to us. We went to Sacrament, and there was a piano up there, and they began Sacrament meeting, and they pulled out their phone, and they opened the hymn, and they put it to the microphone, and everybody sang along with the microphone. I had never seen this in church before. It was shocking to me. I'm like, you have like, I don't know, 150 members here, and not one person could play the piano for Sacrament. So we started helping people. We'd get them little keyboards, and the church helped with that. There was a Harmon grant that had offered and given some of the kids these pianos to start to learn to play in church. And so we did that, and we got the kids to play. It was pretty eye-opening for us, but it was also very tricky. And I learned a lot of like why it's so difficult. And then just recently we had somebody from Brazil approach us and said, we have a problem down here in Brazil. And I want to introduce Nancy really quickly because Nancy, Sister McGuire, is down serving a mission. Sister McGuire, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? We can't hear you. You're muted. I'm going to try to spotlight you.
There, is that better?
That's perfect. Thank you. So tell us about your mission in Brazil and what's your experience down there?
My assignment here is in family history. And when I got here, I was introduced to Paulo Tofanelli, who is spearheading this project to improve the music here in Brazil. And we have decided to engage in a small pilot group using the Piano Marvel program because, again, we don't have a wealth of pianists. For example, I have been traveling with Paulo Tofanelli to several areas in Brazil, and we went to Sorocaba. There are 24 units there in the surrounding area, and only 2 have a competent pianist. And so what we decided to do is, with what we have, gather a small group of 10 students and put them together with their devices and keyboards and see how far we could get with this. 10 sounds like an awesome number. We've been working on this we're going on 3 months, and we can still just barely get 5 people connected and successful.
When you talk about connected, I think we haven't yet talked about how Piano Marvel works on that technology level of helping people learn to play the notes and the rhythms and everything. So yeah. I think let's give that a little bit of context. But before we do that, you told me once that this meeting where you had 24 units and only 2 people could play the piano out of 24.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of surprising.
Yeah. And it's interesting because people do have keyboards and some have very nice keyboards, but that skill isn't there. Or when I have adults that I'm working with, I said, "What's been your experience?" They will say, "Oh, I've always wanted to play the piano, but there's never been an opportunity or means to provide lessons." And the younger kids that I've worked with, they're just, all over the place. They are not interested, not not interested in learning the hymns per se. But one thing that was pointed out to me yesterday as I was mulling this over, I have a daughter who lives in Riverton, and wondering how effective is this program going to be? And she said, absolutely, it's going to be effective because she said, I am in the Mecca of Mormon land, and it's me and one other person that can play the hymns. And, her kids are taking lessons and she knows other people who are taking lessons, but that is not has not been a viable route to get some excitement generated about playing the hymns.
So have you seen the culture shift a bit, where more people used to play and less people are playing now?
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think that
Absolutely.
is?
Oh, that's an easy one. Just the distraction of phones. And I know in the States, it's usually a myriad of extracurricular activities. Um, Here in Brazil, they're just trying to make a living. And that requires working very long hours.
I feel like you're right with as far as like we've become consumers and not
Yes.
creators. We just spend our time using what other people have done, and we don't spend our time and effort because it's hard and so much easier to just scroll or watch Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And in fact, we don't need, like, you can easily just push a button and have it play now. And so we just rely on that. But I love the new program that the church has implemented with the youth, which is set goals for yourself. And if I could share the screen here, I'm going to share and try to find this slide I have to show you what this is. Let's see, how do I get... Find that slide. Here it is. So this is the new program for the youth, and I wish it was for all of the adults too. Maybe that's the next step. But setting goals spiritually, physically, socially, and intellectually. They got rid of the program for scouts and implemented it with just setting goals. And President Nelson gave a talk on the Lord loves effort. And yes, it is hard, but I have seen so much rewards come from somebody, taking that effort, learning to play, and then sharing that talent with other people. At first, they're scared. They're not interested, but once they learn and they feel the power there's so much power in music. And the sense of accomplishment, it makes them want to do more hard things. And just sitting on their phone has kind of like that opposite effect. It makes them want to just be lazy and just sit there, lose motivation. And so I love that if you set a goal to play in church, you kind of get every one of these categories. Intellectual, it is a very intellectual thing to learn music and to play. The spiritual, it's a very spiritual experience to play the hymns. The social, well, you're doing it with other people. And then the physical, well, there is a lot of coordination with your physical body that goes into learning how to control this physical body. So it really kind of checks all these boxes, and it is phenomenal. The problem is that we get stuck. And I see these 3 steps in learning. First is you got to learn the notes. And then the next step is you play it for somebody at home, and you get better, and then you play it at church. Well, momentum in learning is such a key element that if you slow down, then it's like you're just not going to make it. And so just like learning on these three steps, momentum is time sensitive. If I found that if you do not reach these benchmarks fast enough, you are going to lose people. They're gone. And so the problem that I faced is that in step 1, learning to play the songs takes so long that they never get to actually play it in a setting where people are singing along with them. And this is the biggest point of where they're learning. It's not actually like learning the hymn itself. You learn more from actually doing it and inserting yourself into the environment than you ever do just learning the notes. And this cannot be replaced mentally. You can't just picture yourself there or watch a video of it. You actually have to play while other people are singing. And the same thing with step 3, playing in church. So the problem then is people get stuck with step 1. So let me go to this slide here that I've created. We have identified that this step, where's my step here? I lost my slide. There it is. Okay, so we've taken these steps and said, where do people fail? And we pushed and we said, all right, there is the learning the notes, the rhythms, the intro, all of this stuff. That's just one step. Really, where you start to learn is in step 2, where you play it for people. I want to then show you like the reason why this step is so hard to get to here. Let me go back to my little laser pointer. Is because this goes far too long. We cannot get from step 1 to step 2 in a fast enough time to keep that momentum. And this is always where it breaks down. They never get to where they learn. So we decided to see if we could simplify this with technology and just some common sense here. And so one of the things we did was we took out the hardest part, which is putting the left hand with the right hand. By far, that is the biggest stopping block to get to step 2, which is playing at home. Joel, I would like you to share some of this technology that would help like get through this first step and also explain like a timeline. How fast can you get from step 1 to step 2? Are you able to share your screen with us, Joel?
Yes, I can. Absolutely. Let me.
Sister
share my
McGuire was
screen.
kind of alluding to like the technology a little earlier. And so I think it would be helpful to kind of see what the technology can do and how it assists us.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys
Which,
see
by the
my
way,
screen okay?
all of this is absolutely free. This is something that Joel and I have been working on, donating our time and our efforts and the technology so that people can have this for free, because we understand like there is so much benefit to it and many people can't afford it. We want to make this absolutely free to people and really help more people enjoy and learn.
Yep, absolutely. So as Aaron mentioned, we've put all the hymns material in this course into Piano Marvel and organized it in a way that's, I think, really helpful. But I think one of the best ways to see like how this is helpful is just to kind of quickly demonstrate. So I've got a section here opened of I'm a Child of God, and I've got the first line here selected. And there's a couple different ways I can approach this, but I generally like to start with the practice mode. So you'll see there's a practice and a play button down here. So when I click practice, we see the music goes into full screen here, and you can see there's a cursor, a blue cursor here on this first note. If I play that note, and I'm connected here with a MIDI piano, by the way. You see that the note turned green and the cursor moved to the next spot. I'll play the next note. So I can play as slowly or as quickly as I need to kind of work out the note pattern. And we're reading the notes, we're teaching reading and teaching the pattern at the same time. But let's say I play a wrong note. You'll see there's this red mark. And as I go higher on the piano, I don't know if you can hear my piano because it's, you can see that red note mark is higher and lower, just depending on where I play. So once I find the right note, then we move on again. So I can do that over and over and over again as much as I want. My son, Caleb, had learned to play a hymn this way, and he was able to just sit down and use this to help guide him on where the notes were. And after he did that enough times, he had it down. He could read it. He could also, you're kind of also learning the pattern and a little bit of memorization in there as well. So it kind of helps build a good foundation for it. Then the next step I feel like is a good one is after you feel pretty comfortable with it in the practice mode, you can go on to the play mode. So let's check that out. And this will just be, again, I've just got the first 4 measures here. Here we go.
1, 2, set, go.
And I did intentionally make one mistake here so you can see. So that gave me a 90% accuracy for notes and rhythms. And you can see right here, I played late and I also played the wrong note. So it's showing me where my mistake was. What's really helpful about that is when you've got that instant feedback and that ability to just very quickly figure out what you're doing wrong as far as notes and rhythms are concerned. It allows people to very quickly correct mistakes before they become bad habits. And then they can get through and learn the piece a lot more efficiently and a lot more quickly. I think one of the other really cool things about what we've done here is what's called the slicings. So if I go down here to the learn mode, does this one have it? It might not.
No, which one are you on?
I'm in the
Number 3.
hymns.
Go to number 3.
Okay, let me go to that one. Are you talking about?
So you were in step 4. You skipped one step, the I'm a child of God, and click on step 3.
Let's see. It says step 4 when I open that.
Yeah, I wonder if you're in the right book.
I might be in the wrong
Yes,
one.
let me help guide you through that course. Go ahead and do a search for course 1.
It would be hymns course
I s-
1.
Yeah, I see it right there, down there below, right? Not the one with the smiley face.
Yeah, I was in the one with the smiley face.
Yeah, go to the Hymns Made Easy course 1. And there it is.
This
It's
one?
on the second one. There's also a course 2. Now, what's the difference between course 1 and course 2?
Different hymns.
No, it's the same hymns, but course 1 is only
Oh
the
yeah.
right hand. So we've decided to get them to that next stage where they're actually playing quickly for somebody. Let's just eliminate the left hand and just get them into learning with just the right hand. And it's been phenomenal, like huge success. So where are you with the play step?
Yeah, and just quickly too, when you come into the course, we've segmented this by singing, conducting, playing it with the intro, and then playing intro and all verses together. So they're kind of practicing not just one skill with it. But if we go into the play and, okay, let's give this a try now. If I go into the learn mode over here, here we go. So you'll see we've got all these stars over here. And the question is, well, what does this all mean? Well, you'll notice this is the slow column, medium, and fast column. And you'll see these are labeled measures 1 through 4, slow, medium, and fast. Measures 5 through 9, slow, medium, and fast, and so forth. So let's go to this first one. If I click it, I get a instructional video that kind of walks me through that part that I can watch. Once I'm done, yeah, I can follow it, or if I don't want to watch the video, I can skip it. And here we go. Now it's going to have me practice this at 60 beats per minute at a reduced tempo, so that way I can get the pattern and get comfortable with it. And then once I complete that, I can go and click the next button, or I can come here and go to the medium. So medium speed would be the next one in the list, which is 70 beats per minute. And then the recommended tempo as 80 beats per minute on this song.
Joel, can you go ahead and just show us? And I'd like to show the automated, that little looping button up there. This is really cool.
2, set,
If you click on that
go.
looping button,
yeah, the looping, sure.
yeah. So what I want you guys to see was the first time he'll make, well, not that looping, the auto advanced looping. This is a cool tool as well that you might like. But let's start with the practice mode first, and then he'll play a wrong note and just show you what happens.
Oh, I've skipped that note.
So your
Okay.
first time through, you got a 67, and it just starts over.
So I can just keep playing, yeah.
So keep playing until you get 100, and then we'll want to see what happens here.
Got 96 that time.
Getting better. You got
Okay.
100. Now it says, now let's try it with rhythm. And I love this rhythm feature. Go ahead and
2,
do a wrong
set,
rhythm here and show us. This step is actually really, really helpful because a lot of people can't keep a rhythm, and this kind of teaches you to not stop. You just have to keep going. And so
1,
you instantly see, I'm a
2,
little late here on
set,
some notes.
go.
And it just starts over and lets you do it again. And see if you got any better from the last score. 68. Okay,
1,
see if you can get 100.
2, set, go.
You did. It automatically moves to the next speed. And you get to start the practice all over. So it's just like step by step guides you through.
Yeah, it's doing all this automatically.
All automatically. So then it'll advance you. Now say, let's do that speed with the rhythm. And I
1,
love the repetition. The
set,
repetition is so good. So what percentage are you completion with learning this song? If you
1,
click on the stop
2,
button,
set,
let's take a look at
go.
completion.
Yeah, so we can see this little progress circle up here in the corner.
I need to zoom in so we can see that a little better.
Yeah,
you're
so it's
10%.
progress. So, yep. So I've learned 10% of the sections to make up this song so far.
So you said you had Caleb doing this, your son.
Mhm.
How long did it take him to learn the hymn and then going through this section this
He
way?
learned his first hymn in in 2 days, basically. The first day he got most of it. The second day he finished it and also got more repetition with it to get a little more comfortable. So yeah, it took him about 2 days to learn right hand part to just one of these hymns.
Can you show us, if you click on that X, the report? I depend very heavily as a facilitator on this report for my students. If I click on report, it'll show me, like you can see you're 9% of the way done with that one there. If you click on that, it'll even break that down for you and show you which parts they've done. But as soon as they get a gold on all 5 of those with I Am a Child of God, that's when I know they're ready to play it at home. And we take them to that next step. They play it at home 3 times, and then they're ready to play in church. So think about the timing. Caleb did this in 2 days. He plays at home that evening, and the next day, and the next day. So by, let's say he started on Monday, he plays at home on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Ready to play it in church on
Well,
Sunday?
Yeah, I think one of the important things to point out here too is that some people might be thinking, well, okay, but you're only learning the right hand part, right? So what we did, and what worked really well, and this goes back to what you were showing early on, Aaron, about there being a gap and a bridge across the canyon, is how do we help people much more easily cross that bridge and get to the other side? And the way we did that is Caleb learned that right hand part. Then I sat down with him and I played the left hand part with him. So we turned this simple hymn into a duet. And that's how, then when we go to priesthood meeting or mutual or one of those meetings, and if we want to have a hymn, he's ready to go. I can sit down and we can play that hymn together. Obviously, as time goes on, then he'll be getting the right and left hand parts together. But this is a really great way to give them something that they can apply. They learn something and then they can apply it without having to wait a year or 2 years before they're ready, right? I mean, you can have students ready in just a matter of days to sit down and play. And it gives them that experience of playing. All kids get kind of nervous, especially when it's their first time if they're not used to performing. It's a great way to help them get over that. And by playing with them, you know how teenagers can be, right? If you ask, most of you have had teenagers, if you ask them like, I want you to learn a hymn and go play in church, they're going to be like, no way. Especially if they don't really play very much music or a little bit. But with this, my son Caleb, hasn't really played a lot of piano. And he's about 15 years old, but because I was willing to sit down and play with him, and he could learn that part, then he's like, okay, that's like not so scary anymore. So I think that really helps.
Can I show a video of this, like what it looks like in church when you do play with him?
Yeah.
All right, let me share my screen really fast and my audio so you can see this in person and how this works. Let's see, where are we? I had skip down here. Oh, these are pictures of Brazil, some of Sister McGuire's experiences teaching. Great things are about to come in Brazil. We're wanting to do like get 100 students to play in Brazil before the end of the year. Sister McGuire, is that going to be possible?
I think we can make that happen.
100. I would like 1,000 people worldwide in different areas to play. Okay, so now we're going to try singing while you play. I know that's really difficult. I was messing up when I was trying it with these different verses. So we'll have you start do the intro without singing and then sing the first verse and let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Ready?
Pause to heaven, lift another
like having her add the element of singing in there with it. And it wasn't that hard. You notice her eyes were on the page. She was actually reading this. She just started lessons just recently. The next part, worked with her brother. Nope, sorry, this isn't her brother. This is another student. We're showing how it could look on the organ. It sounds full. I actually like this. She made a mistake because it shows that she can just keep moving. And it's very, very easy when you have a duet partner to just learn how to.
Okay, Stride. So I looked in Piano Marvel, and it looks like I'm going to put your name up here so we can track how far you are. And I'm a child of God. I saw that you got 100% on all of these, so those were done. How many times did you play this at home in family home evening or your scripture studies for Come Follow Me?
I've done it I think all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to switch to only do this 3 times, but since you did it 5 times, we're good. And then you played this one with me in church, and that was, I believe, for priesthood. So I'm going to just initial this here, and I'm going to go ahead and report that you had played this. So let's go ahead and report. So which hymn did you do? You did I'm a Child of God. You did it in priesthood, and which version you played with me with a duet partner. So I'm going to put your name, Stride Peterson. And we'll say, no, we don't want to share that. That's next. Okay. You have now been completed. We're going to try to get 1,000 people to play in church. So I think you're the very first one on this form. Nice. All right, let's move on to the next song. Here you go.
So you can kind of see, this is exciting. This is like really, really, really exciting. I used to think, it's going to take months before a student's ready to play in church. And so I've just been trying this. It is phenomenal. Within 1 week, people are playing it. I just gave this to another friend who he was a recent convert, and I said, hey, would you mind playing in church? Let me show you how to do it. We connected him, got him working with the app. He learned it in 1 day. That next day, he played it at home. And then that Sunday, he played it in in Elders Quorum. And so adults, children, I think this is phenomenal, just how quickly we can get people to jump into actually doing it in person. That is the stumbling block. It was just taking too much. But if you can take that left hand out, put them into the system, what we really need is we need facilitators. Facilitators are kind of the key who can help people get over some of these hurdles. Like Sister McGuire, can you tell your experience with, have you been able to get anybody to play in church yet?
Not in church, but we had a senior missionary complete this program in about 3 weeks, and she played for a group family night for all the senior missionaries, and just absolutely perfect. I was so proud of her, and she was proud of herself, and everybody cheered for her. It was great. One thing I just wanted to say is I think there's an element missing of congregational singing when people don't participate. And I think this will just encourage more congregational singing. One, if you see, oh, Lucas is up there playing for the first time, everybody sing loud, support him. It will build more unity in the wards. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I've also found that it helps. We're encouraged to read scriptures with our families every day, to do Come Follow Me. This encourages people, like if you say, let's implement this in your family reading, it encourages them to do more family reading. And like, develop this habit of doing family scripture nightly. And so you can just put that in there, and it improves the spirituality of the scripture reading itself. Like, music is powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next
That's
step
what-
is that people are probably wondering is, well, where do I get that book? We're going to make that book free. I can email it out to everybody who did send in and signed up for this webinar, but I will also put it in the link to this video so that you can get that PDF and print it and then start utilizing it. I found the printed book is exceptionally helpful. Just you saw how, like, I was checking that off for Stride, and I wrote his name up there, and then we finished that song, and then we flipped the page and started the next song, same process. And like Joel mentioned, instead of going through the whole program by yourself, you go through one song and play it in church, play it at home. And then you do the process again. You learn another song and play it at home. Some people will be tempted to do two things. One is learn all the songs before they ever play it in front of somebody, but you learn mostly when you play in front of somebody. So don't fall into that trap. Learn a song, play it for somebody. The second thing that people fall into the trap of is adding the left hand. They always want to add the left hand, and they're like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. That will kill you. Like, you'll find some people can do it, but the vast majority of people, it will take them 2-3 weeks, and you lose the momentum, and that momentum is key. And you got to get into where you're playing for somebody to get the biggest results of how fast you're learning. I'm hoping.
So I have a quick
Yeah.
question about that.
Yeah.
When would you suggest then? Because obviously we don't only want them to play the right hand in church forever, to progress and get to the point where they can play both hands, want to harder, the regular hand. So when would you suggest adding in the left hand? And I know that's probably dependent on each person, but if
That
you
is a fabulous question. Super, super good question. I'm going to see if I can share with you my screen and show you. How do I get into? Okay, I'm going to go to pianomarble.com first of all. This is the other thing, like, how do you get connected? You can go in and create a free account, and all these hymns are free. So you just create a free account, and then you launch the app at pianomarble.com. You go into the music library, and you do a search for Hymns Made Easy course. And these are the first course and the second course. The first course is the right hand. Second course is adding the left hand to it. Well, these are organized into units. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 songs in this first unit, 4 songs in the second unit, and 4 songs in the third unit. And we've picked the songs that are easiest to learn. And so if you go through and do unit 1 and learn all these songs, unit 2, you got so you got 12 songs that you've actually played. When you go into unit 2, it's the exact same songs, but this time you add the left hand. And it should be really, really simple at this point, because you've already played these and you've played it with people singing, to just now go in and start learning the left hand. And the left hand, you can learn basically the same way you did in this chop slicing, where you go through, just learn those first 4 bars with 3 speeds, and then you do the next, and then the next, and the next, and you just walks you through the left hand, and then it combines it with the right hand. So you can actually work out the kinks, and it only takes a couple of days to learn that left hand. And then you can now start playing left hand with the right hand. Does that answer your question there?
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, your audio is breaking up quite a bit, but I think you said
Oh,
yes.
I'd say yes, that does help. Yeah.
Okay. Great question. Does anybody else have any questions? do you feel like this is a good plan? I think of the times I failed before, and every time we fail, we like to put the blame on students or their attitudes or the culture. Like the student has a bad attitude, or the family doesn't help them work enough. And in reality, the plan is probably the difference between a good plan and a bad plan is that bad plans have a low chance of success and good plans have a high sense of success. So all my years, I've been trying to get better and better with my planning, but I feel like for the first time I've found a plan that actually has a very, very high chance of success. And after trying it with, I think I've got 10 students right now that I've implemented this with, and they're all successful. Like all of them are now playing in church, every one of them. And we're talking 6 years old all the way through adults. So for me, I'm excited. Now the next thing is to join with you guys and create this movement where we can get 1,000 people to play in church by the end of the year. Hopefully in Brazil, we can get 100 people. But do you guys want to watch? Like, I think it's important for us to watch the success. And you saw that QR code where we scanned it with the phone and just start putting it in. That's going to be the key to letting you guys know how many people we're at. So we're creating a website. We'll put that in the link as well, where we're going to be tracking, and that QR scan will take you right to that place where you'll be able to see how many people we're at. And then you add one more person, you'll see that number go up, getting closer and closer to our goal of 1,000 people. We're going to also ask them what country they're in, which I didn't have there, but I think we need to say, like, we're from Brazil.
Yes,
we can
absolutely.
From Brazil have
Absolutely.
completed this. So, Sister McGuire, do you have anything else to add?
I see this as a great needed component to add to what is already there with what the church has produced for keyboard and conducting courses. And I feel like, and I think would be a key component because it just has instant feedback to help you develop a steady rhythm. And it has that engagement that keeps that momentum going. I think that would be very, very helpful.
Excited to try to get 1,000 or 100 people to play the hymns?
Yes, I can do it. I know I can do it.
Yeah, I think we can hit our 1,000 mark too. Imagine, like, this is this year. What happens when we get a lot more people involved being facilitators and helping other people and recruiting other people to do this and sharing this? I think maybe 2026, we set a new goal.
Well, and one thing, I don't know if I've got a minute or not. As a facilitator, this is possible to facilitate remotely. It would be possible to be successful without having a senior missionary there, because we all know that we need more senior missionaries, and the reality of that, we just haven't achieved that yet. So that is another perk that I think would be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this, and we'll definitely keep in touch, and we'll hit our goals. We'll open it up to questions. Does anybody have questions? I see one from Jeff. Would it be possible to receive one-on-one coaching at a fee? I would like to, instead of this being a fee, this should probably all be volunteer work where we're donating our time and talents to the Lord and building his kingdom and blessing the lives of his children, our brothers and sisters. So I think it is essential. Sister McGuire, she did say she is going to recruit some facilitators and hold like a weekly meeting with them, a check-in, get some training on how to do it. I am going to reach out to anybody who said they wanted to be a facilitator and do a special training and just get them rolling and help them to where they can help other people. Does that answer your question, Jeff? Yes, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions? You excited to get started? Any comments?
um, I'll just put it out there. This was my idea. I think as a teacher, you could easily use this. You could use this setup for a student to learn throughout the week, practice during the week. They could come for a group lesson weekly, and that's where you could teach conducting and more of the keyboard course that the church has already produced. The beauty of that situation, I think, is the students could have a chance to practice conducting and what that's like for singing along just kind of one step further than the comfort of their own home in front of their peers. I think that could be very effective and powerful.
Yeah, there are two things I'd like to show you because you guys are probably wondering, how do we set up this technology? It could be overwhelming and hard to do. Can I just show you really quickly, like the easy way to do it? Let me show you the easy way to do it. I'm going to use Joel here. I'm going to walk into the other room and show you two really cool things. This will blow your mind. Are you guys ready for this? All right. Here we go. We're going to take a digital piano and show you how to hook it up to a keyboard. All right, Joel, can you show us like how hard is this? And then we want to show the microphone assessment. You have it on your phone? Like, yeah, I can just point the camera. Yeah, let's show with a computer real quick. How does this work?
Yeah, so let's do it on this one over here.
Okay.
Basically, all we have, guys, is a digital piano here. This almost any digital keyboard, even cheaper ones, have what's called a MIDI connection. It's just a USB that connects into the computer. You could do USB-A or USB-C. And then into the piano, there's a USB port. It's probably hard to see on this one. It's just like a printer cable. And you just plug that in. And that's all you really need in order to get that to go. And then when you open up Piano Marvel, it should automatically detect that you've connected that thing and you'll be ready to go. So at its simplest form, that's really all it takes to get set up. You can see he's connecting the Clavinova. It lets you do a quick test. And then I hit finish. And there you go. Then you can go to any song in the hymn score.
Now that's the best way to do it. Super easy. Almost every piano in the world, a digital piano or a keyboard has that. But what if you're using an acoustic piano? We have added this new technology. We're going to do this on an acoustic piano and show you how this works. So Joel was connected before with the song. He's going to now, I got to turn on some lights. I got my piano over here. So he's got his cell phone. He's going to go to that same song.
So there's no connection here. This is just a regular acoustic piano. So when I go to play, it's going to ask me how I want to be scored. I don't know if hopefully you can see that. It's a little blown out, but it says, actually, if I turn my brightness down, that might help.
Oh, that's better.
So it says I can be assessed with microphone, MIDI, or on-screen keyboard that you tap. So I'm going to go to MIDI and continue. We recommend headphones when you use this feature, but we're going to just go ahead and start. And now it's waiting for me to play because I started practice mode. I don't know if you guys can see that, but
It worked.
it's reading all the notes I'm playing from the microphone.
That is amazing. Just no connection, just with your piano connection. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So now right now it's only available on iOS, so an iPad or an iPhone, but we're working soon to get it working on Android phones and Android tablets. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, you can start using it. I would recommend still plugging into a digital piano if you have one. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us for this webinar. I hope you're excited for this, and I'm really gonna I'm personally gonna get at least 20 people to play in church by the end of the year.
Aaron, where do we get the MIDI cable?
The MIDI cable, I just get mine on Amazon. I can
They're-
get a
less
link
expensive.
to that in the video, this video too, if you want me to put that in there.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes, Brandon.
Maddie had a question. She was wondering, in the future, is there going to be something similar for the original hymn book for more advanced students?
Actually, there already is. But the problem is that what we're trying to conquer is getting people into the very beginning stages. Once you get them through course 1 and course 2, then they are ready for the Hymns Made Easy book. And then from there, they go from the Hymns Made Easy to the regular hymn book, and all of that is free in Piano Marvel as well. We're working with the church in allowing these resources to go to the world and these technologies so that everybody can have these for free. So yes, once you finished course 1, course 2, that course, the Hymns Made Easy is in there. There's something called Hymns Made Easy Boot Camp and the Hymns Boot Camp. And both of those are designed to really help you get into those further stages.
Good deal.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank
we'll
you.
look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Ciao.